For Chapter 8, Stop and Reflect, I'm going to explain what I did for each problem. The first one was Mark has 4 bags of apples and there are 6 apples in each bag. How many apples does Mark have altogether? So what I did was I drew 4 boxes and then I drew 6 apples into each, and I labeled the bags 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I counted them and I got a total of 24. The second problem was if apples cost 7 cents each, how much did Jill have to pay for 5 apples? So I drew 5 circles representing the 5 apples, and then I drew 7 dots in each one representing the 7 cents each, and I got 35 cents total. The next problem was if Peter walked for 3 hours at 4 miles per hour, how far did he walk? So I drew 3 rectangles representing the 3 hours that he walked, and the 4 miles for each hour are inside, and I added those up and I got 12. The next one was equal groups, size of group unknown, and the first problem was Mark has 24 apples. He wants to share them equally among his 4 friends. How many apples did each receive? So I drew 4 boxes representing the 4 friends, and then I did little circles and I added 1 to each box until I got to 24, and I saw that it was an equal amount in each one, which was 6. So each friend gets 6 apples. For the next one with Jill, she paid 35 cents for 5 apples. What was the cost of 1 apple? I did the same thing. I drew out 5 circles for the apples, and then I drew in little dots until I got to 35 cents, and I counted them to make sure that each apple was equal, and it was, and so I got 7 cents each per apple. Let me see if I can scroll down just a little bit here. Okay, the next problem was with Peter. Peter walked 12 miles at the rate of 4 miles per hour. How many hours did it take Peter to walk the 12 miles? So what I did was I ended up drawing 4 dots until I got to 12, and then I circled each of the 4 dots, and it gave me 3. I saw that at 4 miles per hour each, and there was 12 dots representing the miles, 3 hours. It actually, this right here, I'm sorry, should say 3 miles per hour, not 4 miles per hour. I'm sorry, I got confused there. The next one is groups unknown. Mark has 24 apples. He put them in bags containing 6 apples each. How many bags did Mark use? So what I did was I drew groups of 6 until I got to 24, and then I circled them. It gave me 4 bags. For Jill, she bought apples at 7 cents a piece, and her total cost was 35, so I did the same thing. I drew out groups of 7 until I got to 35, and then I circled them, and it gave me 5. So she bought 5 apples. And for Peter, he walked 12 miles at a rate of 4 miles per hour. How many hours did it take Peter to walk? So what I did here was I drew out 12 in sets of 4, and then I circled them, and I got 3 of those, so it took him 3 hours. The next is comparison product unknown. Jill picked 6 apples, and Mark picked 4 times as many apples. How many apples did Mark pick? So what I did was Jill had 6, I circled that, but Mark picked 4 times, so I drew 4 more sets of 6, and I counted it, and he got 24 apples. This month, Mark saved 5 times as much money as last month. Last month he saved $7. So what I did was I drew out 7 representing his last month, and then 5 times that. So I did that same set of 7 5 times, and then I counted them. It was 35. So he saved $35 this month. The comparison group size unknown, Mark picked 24 apples. He picked 4 times as many apples as Jill. How many apples did Jill pick? So what I did was I drew out 24 apples, and then I circled them into equal groups. So that meant that Jill picked 6 apples if Mark picked 4 times as many as she did, and he had 24. This month, Mark saved 5 times as much money as he did last month. If he saved $35 this month, how much did he save last month? So I drew out 35 dots representing the money that he saved, and then I circled them into 5 equal amounts, and that was 7 in each one, so he saved $7 last month. And the last one, Mark picked 24 apples and Jill only picked 6. How many times as many apples did Mark pick? So what I did was I drew out 24 apples and I circled 6 of them. And then I saw that I had 3 more groups of 6. So I said, okay, so I have 4 sets of 6 apples. So he picked 4 times as many. And on the last problem, Mark saved $35, and last month he saved 7. So I drew out 7, and then I kept going in groups of 7 until I got to 35. And then I saw how many groups of 7 I ended up with, which was 5. So he saved 5 times as much money this month as he did last month. Thank you.